Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of No Huddle with Zach Arndt. And today we're going to be taking a look at the Rutgers Scarlet Knights, giving a preseason preview for the upcoming 2022 college football season, led by head coach Greg Schiano going into year 14, along with offensive coordinator Sean Gleason and defensive coordinator Joe Harrismick. Some key players returning: Keyshawn Abram, the corner. He's probably their best defensive player in 2021. Safety Avery Young. It's going to be a fifth-year starter. 81 tackles and 2 sacks a season ago. Aaron Crookshank. He tore his ACL last year, I believe. He's one of the most explosive wide receivers in the Big Ten. I expect a huge season in 2022 for him. They did lose some key players. Isaiah Pacheco. Rutgers' offensive line wasn't anything special a year ago, and he still managed to run for 700 yards on just 160 carries. They also lose Bo Melton, wide receiver. He was their leading receiver a season ago. 55 catches, 600 yards, 11.5 average for 3 touchdowns. And then they lost their linebacker, their leading tackler, Alukunle Fadukasi. I apologize if I said that wrong. He had 89 tackles just a season ago, along with 3.5 sacks. Looking at their 2022 recruiting class, they went out and signed 4 4-stars. Moses Walker, the linebacker from Brooklyn. 4-star offensive lineman Jacob Allen. Another linebacker and Anthony Johnson. And then 4-star running back Samuel Brown. Looking at this roster, they returned Shameen Jones and Aaron Crookshank at wide receiver. I don't think Jones will start right away. They have some other talented studs, Taj Harris and Sean Ryan. Looking at the offensive line, they have 2 returning guys from a season ago, 2 returning starters, I should say, Reggie Sutton and Holland Pierce. I think Ireland Brown and J.D. DeRedsno are going to start. They get that experience along with Willie Tyler III. At tight end, Johnny Langland and Matt Alamo. Once again, I apologize if I said that wrong. At quarterback, Noah Federal started majority of their games a season ago. I do not think he's going to start this year. They went out and got Gavin Wimsatt in the 2021 recruiting class, and he was an absolute stud coming out of high school. I'm a huge Gavin Wimsatt fan. I think he's going to start this season. I don't remember what game exactly it was last year. It might have been Illinois. For some reason, I just remember the orange jersey. Against Illinois, I remember Rutgers had a 4th down, or like the long 3rd down or something late in the game, and he threw a crazy pass to convert that 3rd or 4th down, and Rutgers went on to win that game. That was his breakout moment. He didn't play great in the other games, but I don't think you should look too much into that. The talent's there. Ceiling's really high with Gavin Wimsatt. It's just whether the O-line can block for him this season. Looking at the defense, they returned Mayan Anatu on the defensive line. They're going to have to break in some new starters: Aaron Lewis, Keontae Hamilton, and Ifeanyi Maji on the defensive line. 3 new starting linebackers, starting out with Muhammad Torre, Tyrene Powell, and Deion Jennings. In the secondary, they returned 4 starters: Keyshawn Abraham, Max Melton, Avery Young, and Christian Isian. From what I'm looking at, it looks like Rutgers runs a 4-3, so I don't know who's going to start at nickel if they do go to that. Like, their base defense is 4-3, so that means 4 down linemen, 3 linebackers, and then 4 secondary players. And they don't usually play nickel unless they absolutely have to, from what I'm looking at. Some team stats from a year ago. They were ranked 107th in offensive efficiency, 123rd in explosive plays on offense. Finishing drives on offense, they were ranked 116th. Turnover margin, they were +4. Top 50 nationally, coming in at number 40. Last year, they averaged 19 points per game, which is good for 120th in the nation. They only ran for 138 yards per game. And they only threw for 172 yards per game, which means they had an average of 310 yards per game total, which ranked 120th in the nation. The defense was a little more of a bright spot. They were 56th in points allowed per game at 25. They had the 80th ranked rushing and total defense, and those stats were good for a 5-8 record, 2-7 in the Big Ten a season ago. Looking at 2022, they start off against Boston College. I think they're going to win that, along with wins against Wagner and at Temple. So I have Rutgers going 3-0 here. 3-0 to start the season. But what's bad about that is I don't see another win on the schedule. Now, that doesn't mean they're not going to be competitive in these games. I just don't see any way they win the rest of their 9 games. Starting with Iowa, that's going to be a loss at Ohio State. Probably going to be a blowout. Nebraska, I think they're going to have a bounce-back season. Indiana, I have Indiana winning that game. At Minnesota, if this was at Rutgers, I would no doubt pick Rutgers here. But it's at Minnesota. Michigan, that's a loss. At Michigan State, easy loss. Penn State, easy loss. At Maryland, once again, if this was at Rutgers, I might pick Rutgers, but it's at Maryland, so that's going to be a loss. 3-9 is my prediction, but I could very well see them going 5-7. Once again, that Maryland and Minnesota game, they can win that. Heck, even the Indiana game. I don't know, I just have a feeling Indiana's going to get the best of Rutgers when they play this year. But hey, 5-7, 6-6, that's a possibility for this team this year. I just have them going 3-9 in Greg Schiano's 14th season with Rutgers. That's going to do it for today's video, guys. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I hope you all have a great day. I'll catch you in the next one.